Welcome everyone to Hot Topic Tuesday League of Leaders. I'm Zach Sooty. We have Al Fragnoli. Brandon Gunn is out on a much-deserved vacation, soaking up some rays somewhere beautiful, I'm sure. Can't wait for him to share his vacation with us next week. But Al, good to see you. Got some topics for Hot Topic Tuesday. Are you ready to dive in?
Let's do this.
All right. So this evening, we have the NBA Finals Game 6. Bucks are up 3-2. Are you surprised at the of the NBA Finals right now with the series being 3-2? And are you sticking with your original prediction of the Suns?
So, am I surprised? Yeah. I mean, I am shocked. The Suns go up 2-0. I don't know. It's been a crazy series, right? So, am I sticking with the Suns to win? Absolutely not. I have zero confidence in them right now at the moment. I actually think the Bucks might destroy the Suns in Game 6 here. It's interesting when you think about a series where the home teams wins that first two games. And you feel pretty good. You feel confident and comfortable, deservedly so. All you got to do is win, two more games, whereas your opponent needs to win four out of five, which is hard to do. And then you see them go back or go onto the road. The Suns go on the road up 2-0. Just win one game. That's all you got to do, right? They lose both. Now it goes back to Phoenix tied 2-2. And when you're in a tight game, which the Suns got out to a 16-point lead in the first quarter, I believe it was, and they blew it. You got that big of a lead. I don't understand how teams are blowing leads defensively. They didn't look good, especially towards the end of that game in Game 5. But when you get in a tight game, after your opponents tied it up and won two in a row, and now you're back on your home court, you now feel that pressure in Game 5 because that's a pivotal game where if you lose, which the Suns did, you know that you have to go back on the road for Game 6. So I think the momentum is totally shifted. The Suns are a great team. Can they rebound from it? Sure. Will they? I don't think so, though. I think the Bucks win by 15, and they absolutely dominate this game from start to finish. I think it's really no contest. But then again, what do I know when it comes to sports, Zach? Because I've been so far wrong in this series so far. But we'll see what happens. Zach, what are your thoughts?
So I am surprised that the Phoenix Suns are down 3-2. I really thought that my initial thought was the Suns would win in 6, but if it went to Game 7, the Bucks could pull it off. I do think the Suns will tie up the series. I think it will go to a Game 7, and in a Game 7, I will continue to stick with the Bucks. It's been a great series. I am surprised. It's interesting to see how the Suns have, they blew that lead, and I think it goes to the defense of Holiday, who has helped shut down some of the Suns players, including Chris Paul. So it's interesting, just in the series itself, to be up 2-0. Like you said, they only need to win 2 out of 5. It's amazing to me that the Suns are facing elimination tonight. So I'm going to stick with the Suns winning tonight, but Game 7, I'm going to give it to the Bucks and go with my original. I had 2 predictions: Suns in 6 or Bucks in 7. That's how you cover all your bases there, Al. You make at least 2 picks within every pick. So Bucks in 7, sticking to it.
Hey.
All right. So moving on to Major League Baseball. Last week we talked about the All-Star Game, Home Run Derby. It's a great weekend, but now we're looking to the second half of the season. And what has surprised you thus far in the Major League Baseball season? What are you excited to watch? And who you got in the World Series? Who's going to come out guns a-blazing in the second half, that's going to take this thing home? So what are your thoughts on World Series finals?
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about the second half of the season. Obviously, I love baseball, such a great sport, America's pastime, right? So, first of all, big shout out to the Detroit Tigers, who are 4-0 so far in the second half of the year. You talk about the biggest surprise or a big shock, I guess. In my opinion, there's quite a few. Me being a Detroit Tiger guy, I thought that the Tigers would finish pretty close to the bottom in the standings. And they're coming along real nicely. Their young players are playing well. Pitching is starting to come around. Their bullpen is still struggling, but they're slowly creeping towards 500. And I thought that there was no chance that they would do that, especially at the start of the season they had in April. So kudos to them. And hopefully they continue to keep it up. Surprise stories, Boston Red Sox. I'm kind of surprised that they're 20 games or so above 500. Same thing with the San Francisco Giants out in the National League. It's good to see those teams, in my opinion, do well and have success. Giants haven't been good for a while. Boston was not very good last year, but good to see them back towards the top, in my opinion. A historic team like the Red Sox. Kind of surprised at the Cubs. They had kind of fell apart right there about 2-3 weeks before the All-Star break. So I'm a little bit surprised at them. I bet if they continue to slide here a little bit, they'll probably end up being sellers come trade deadline. In regards to World Series, really hard to predict right now. I know this is probably an easy thing to say because they're towards the top in the standings in the American League and National League, but I'm going to go Boston Red Sox and Los Angeles Dodgers are the two teams that I'll say are going to match up in the World Series, and I'll say that the Boston Red Sox win it. So we'll see what happens. Still a long way to go, but I cannot wait to get towards September, the last month of baseball, see some divisional races heat up, and then watch some postseason baseball in October. Zach?
So I think the second half of the season is going to be exciting. You have a lot of teams. I mean, the AL East, you have the Yankees in fourth place, 7 games back. I mean, anything can happen in the second half of the season. The White Sox are running away with the AL Central, and then you have the AL West where the Angels are in fourth place at 9 games back. So some interesting things that can happen in the second half of the season. For the AL, I think it's going to be a Houston, possibly White Sox, AL championship with Houston pulling it out. I really do. I think Houston's going to pull it out. Whether or not they're banging on trash cans or not to get them there, I'm not sure. I hope that's not something that's going on anymore. So
What's going on in Detroit now, Zach? That's what's happening.
So hopefully they redeem themselves, win it without any clouded judgment or any black clouds around their championship. So I could see them pulling one out just to prove others that they can win a championship. So I do have Houston making it to the World Series, and then in the NL, again you have all of the NL East, even the Marlins, only 9.5 games back. In the NL Central, St. Louis in fourth place, third place, tied with the Cubs, 9 games back. And then in third place, the NL West is San Diego, Padres 5 games back. So in the NL, I think I'm going to agree with you. You said the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to make it to the World Series. I think we're going to see Los Angeles Dodgers, Houston Astros, and do believe the Astros are going to pull it out. So very exciting things, though, all around MLB, including Ohtani. I think what he's doing is amazing. I think being on the West Coast, he might not get as much exposure as he would if he was on the East Coast, for time purposes, essentially. But I think that it shouldn't go unnoticed that what he's doing is absolutely amazing. So that'll be interesting to watch how his season progresses. So that's my picks for the MLB. And then Al, the last thing we want to finish up with is Stuart Scott. We want to recognize Stuart Scott. Today would have been his, I believe, 56th birthday. He passed away at the age of 49 in 2015. And you and I grew up watching Sports Center, huge fans of the program. And Stuart Scott was somebody who was very influential in our young lives. You younger than me at the time, but you know, who was Stuart Scott to you, and what did he mean uh, to you as a sportscaster and a human being?
Yeah, Zach, we've talked a couple times on this show on Hot Topic Tuesday with about voices that matter in sports, right? And that mean a lot to us. Stuart Scott's one of those gentlemen. He passed away far too early, and you hate to see those things. And um, he was such an inspiration. I think he just you talk about having that it factor. Stuart Scott had that it factor. His voice was recognizable. He was an icon, in my opinion, on Sports Center. He brought a little bit of comedy to Sports Center. I loved hearing his voice. I miss seeing him there on Sports Center. Um, so you got to just pray for his family, and he had two young girls, I believe, at the time when he passed, and so horrible to see him pass away at such a young age. And for me, I miss hearing that voice. But he was a special person that I absolutely enjoyed and loved listening to on ESPN and Sports Center. Zach, your thoughts on Stuart Scott?
Yeah, I think Stewart was one of the most influential sportscasters that I've ever had the privilege of listening to. I mean, you said his voice was something you recognize right away, and his calls were something that resonated with me. The booyah, the cool's the other side of the pillow. Um, you know, there was just so many calls that he had that were just like, where did he come up with this stuff? And it was so fun. It made it fun, watching it before going to school every morning, and you wanted to see what his call was. What was he going to say? And then you go to the playground or go to basketball practice, and hit a three and booyah. You started saying it. Those were the things. He was so influential in just pop culture in that sense that we all did it. We all said it. We all kind of followed in his footsteps in using those calls in our own personal lives, whether it was playing pickup basketball or in a game or just practice. It was always fun to just hear those calls and say them yourself, and that was always fun. And it's a shame that we lost him at such a young age, but the years we did have with him were so influential. Happy to be one of the individuals of many individuals that got to see him on a daily basis deliver sports, and he delivered it with passion. He delivered it with a care that made us all love the game even that much more. And when I say love the game, I mean all of it. I mean, he was an NBA fan, NHL, MLB. He all of his calls and all of sports were just influential for me. So definitely missed, but definitely never forgotten, and we'll always remember some of those very unique calls.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, that wraps it up for this week's edition of Hot Topic Tuesday. We can't thank you enough for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing everybody next week, along with Brandon Gunn back joining us. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. We certainly appreciate it. Take care.